Representative Emily Kinkead has served since 2020. She is the House Chair of the Legislative Hunger Caucus. She believes that government calling is to do the most good for the most people. Representative Kinkead?
Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. We've talked a lot about the really good things that have happened, and I always feel like I'm a little bit of a Debbie Downer when I talk about food insecurity. But food insecurity is a really serious issue in our Commonwealth and across our nation because it's getting worse. And we almost solved it. And that is something that I don't think that we recognize enough, is that we almost solved food insecurity in the nation because we invested money into our SNAP program during the pandemic, and we almost solved food insecurity. And then we unlearned that lesson and stopped providing those dollars to people who are food insecure in Pennsylvania and across the nation. We went backwards. And we went backwards again in the previous continuing resolution where we cut SNAP benefits and we instituted work requirements for folks that are on SNAP. The vast majority of adults who receive SNAP benefits are already working. And those who receive SNAP benefits and are not working because they can't, because they have a disability, because they are elderly, because they're children. And so when we talk about food insecurity, the reality is we have to acknowledge that it impacts every single community. It's everywhere. You know people who are food insecure. I know people who are food insecure, whether you know that or not. It is not a red issue. It is not a blue issue. It is not an urban issue. It is not a rural issue. It is not a suburban issue. It impacts each and every one of those communities. It impacts people across party lines. It impacts people across the gender divide, across racial lines. And we need to be doing more. And I'm really excited that we got a historic investment into our state-level anti-hunger programs in the state budget. But unfortunately, and I'm very excited about it, but unfortunately the cuts that have come from the federal level have effectively wiped out the impact because we lost the $13 million investment from the USDA into the local food purchase assistance program. Because of other cuts, we have effectively neutralized what we were able to do at the state level. And we cannot carry the burden alone at the state level to solve food insecurity. We need our federal partners to be stepping up and doing more and stepping in to help the people in their areas. Because while the money is flowing again for SNAP, and we have a state budget that is going to invest in our charitable food system to a 40% increase over last year, we are seeing food banks that have no food on the shelves. We are seeing food banks that have had to lay people off. We are seeing food banks that are struggling to pay the utilities in order to keep the lights on to be able to provide food for our most vulnerable community members. And so we need to be doing more, and we can be doing more, and I appreciate that Zonta is here and saying no to food insecurity, because this is really critical. And we need to be doing everything that we possibly can to do this. Donate to your food bank, money if you are able to, food if you're able to, get your friends and your family to do the same. Coordinate with your local food banks. Ask them what it is that they need in order to help our friends and our neighbors. And we will continue to do the work at the state level and work with our congressional partners to make sure that we are taking care of the most vulnerable people in our communities. because in the wealthiest nation in the history of the world, food insecurity is a policy choice, and we can be doing better. Thank you.